Sunny skies on Thursday. Ian's leftovers arrive here this weekend. Good Wednesday night, East Tennessee. David Aldrich, Captain Accurate here from the Captain Accurate Weather Command Center. Well, you can see this is Ian. He's now a Category 3 storm moving over land, but made landfall as 150-mile-an-hour strong Cat 4. Made it landfall just around what they call Coyote Costa at 3:05, more like one of the barrier islands. But then it hit Punta Gorda just south of Port Charlotte, where I thought we'd see some really bad damage. Meanwhile, there's an emergency flash flood warning. They're talking about 5 to 16 inches has already fallen. That's a pretty big range. 5 to 16 inches with another 3 to 6 inches to fall between now and about 9 o'clock tonight. Just a mess, no doubt about that. But you can keep track of it with your family and friends if they're still down there. Maybe they've evacuated. Maybe they're sheltering in place. But Pete Michaels Traffic, my app, it's very easy to get those alerts. Again, very difficult to get power in some cases because they have, in fact, lost about a million people or more have lost power in the state of Florida just today. Pretty amazing stuff. This storm can do that kind of damage. And it matches the strength of Hurricane Charlie from 2004. That's 18 years ago. Same strength of 150-mile-an-hour winds. Amazing how this storm has done so much damage over a short period of time. Let's talk about what we can expect moving forward. As we zoom in a little bit tighter, that little red box is actually a flash flood warning, but now they have an emergency flash flood warning. It's like it's another upgrade from just a regular flash flood warning, but this is all centered around Port Charlotte, also into areas in southwest Florida. A real headache, no doubt, as the spin continues to affect those areas. Oh, yes, they've lost power by the hundreds of thousands. And then think about one power outage could mean like a family of 3 or 4 or a business. So even though it might say 200,000 people without power, it's more than just those number of people. It's that by a factor of 1 or 2 or 3 or more. Now, watching Ian move across the Florida Peninsula, it's going to continue to move across land, but then it's likely to emerge back on the other side and strengthen. I mentioned that yesterday. We're going to explore that idea here in just a moment. Today's high was 68 degrees. That was my expectation. 79 the normal high, so we were actually 11 degrees below average. The record high from 1939, 93 degrees. We did not get rain. Crossville's sensor down today. Don't have a number for you, but I know you had a number, probably in the low 60s like Jamestown. But it was 68 Oak Ridge and Maryville. They hit 70 today in Athens and Tellico Plains. High temperatures, 71 Nashville, 75 today in Memphis. Now, look at these clouds. They've been coming down from the north and from the east. They will thin out, so we'll look for mostly clear skies tonight, and we'll find plenty of stars. But the storm surge as we transition back, if I may, back to Ian, because that's what's going to be headed our way, has caused already the headaches. This was the wall of water we said would be a real problem, over 9 feet, some cases 12 feet, possibly around Cape Coral, some real issues around Sanibel, and of course Fort Myers and Port Charlotte, Charlotte Harbor, Peace River, all of that, just everywhere in red, over 9 feet, just a real mess. And what's going to happen in the future in terms of the gusts, they're not going to slow down. I know the storm may be weakening compared to when it made it landfall, but this is really going to land right around Orlando, spinning like a top. You can see 40, 50-mile-an-hour gust, if not higher. There might be a 70, 74 in there trying to squeeze into the west of Orlando. So again, this is just model data, but the Barron model that I'm showing you did very well to place it near Punta Gorda and Port Charlotte, and it took the focus off of Tampa several days ago. Some people were like disenfranchised. Like, it didn't hit Tampa. Well, it's been hitting Tampa, but not like it did further south toward Fort Myers or maybe even around Punta Gorda. But meanwhile, future wind gusts slow down as we head into Friday because it moves out to sea. Then it wants to come back towards Savannah. Let me show you the future winds. This is another great depiction of what's to come. 6 o'clock Thursday morning. It's not far from Orlando, not far from Disney World, which might be closed, right? They've got the spin associated with some very strong winds moving across the area and the rain and all the rest. But once it gets to about Thursday night, 8 o'clock, it's now off the coast of Daytona Beach. And you can see that circular counterclockwise motion there just off the coast of Daytona Beach by about 8:15 Thursday night. Once we move into Friday, it's going to move along. It's going to keep on moving up towards Savannah, not far from Charleston, South Carolina, where there's some tropical storm watches in effect for South Carolina. And by 10 o'clock Friday night, it's between Columbia and Augusta. That's where the center of circulation may be. Now, I'm going to show you rainfall not only for them, but for us. And I think the us part's going to surprise you because it's right in line with what I've been telling you for days. Oh, yeah, you were talking about this like back during the Florida game. You know when the Vols played Florida way back then? I was talking about that. So I'm going to show you what I'm seeing in the data. Nothing's changed. My expectation is probably going to be right on target. You'll notice still 18, 26 inches of rain around Orlando. Crazy, crazy amounts. Either the model's broken or this storm is off the chart. And that's what one might think, as it has both sides, Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic, to tap into some of that moisture. But let's take you closer to home. Let's take you into the weekend. Tell me what I'm going to get here, Aldrich. Well, it might be an east-west situation. It might be like not much rain in Crossville, but a whole lot of rain in Morristown. And if this verifies, and it's centered up around Asheville, which is where the spaghetti plots put it, it'll put in about 2-3 inches of rain in Hamlin County, Cocke County, Sevier County, and also Pigeon Forge. Maybe an inch, inch and a half around Knoxville. Again, this is just one model. This is just one depiction. And right now, this is what it's showing. 1/4 to a 1/2 inch between Jamestown, Crossville, Wartburg, and Kingston. So it would suggest that if you're east of I-75, you get doused. If you're west of I-75, you say, I wish we had more. Is that all we're getting? That's all we're getting. Yeah, that might be all you get if you're west of I-75 based on the track it's taking today. But we know from today, I heard some feedback. Some people, well, we thought it was going to hit Tampa. Oh, we hit Port Charlotte. Well, it hit Punta Gorda. Those areas, which are what difference of a bridge? That's about it. But this is the way that it works. It works with a cone. There's some level of uncertainty. Some people want exactness. You don't get the exactness in the stock market. You don't get the exactness in weather. In some cases, it can be just maybe alarming. But I don't want it to surprise you. If we get 1 to 3 inches of rain, it might be on the heavier side if you're east of Knox County and east of I-75. Just throwing that out there. As I'm going to go right back to Ian for a second. This is the official track from the Hurricane Center. Some of you may notice it weakens. Amazing. Over land, it weakens to a Category 1 before it hits parts of Orlando. Then we move it back off the coast of Daytona Beach. The cone's getting wider. And I said yesterday, hey, it showed 50. I said, wouldn't surprise me if it's 60 or 70. Isn't it funny? The Hurricane Center, which is usually very conservative with these intensity expectations, have now moved it from what was 50 to 65. They moved it up 15 miles per hour because they see it moving over open water near the Gulf Stream. And it's warmer water off the coast of Savannah, so it might be hitting Savannah as a strong tropical storm. 65-mile-an-hour winds. Oh, it's like a double whammy, right? Comes right into South Carolina, but once it moves over land again, well, it's going to lose its power source, its energy source. Winds probably closer to 25 once it gets around Asheville. So maybe we get gusts of 30. Maybe we get gusts of 35 on hilltops. But as I've mentioned before, this low, if it's centered near Asheville or Johnson City, it's going to throw back some rain into the Knoxville area. Just be prepared. Again, that's the official hurricane forecast. As you can see, those cones that they draw, they often utilize, among many other products. Then look at the spaghetti plots. And most of the spaghetti plots take it out over open water before it puts a serious hurt on Savannah. Puts it right on the chin. Then goes up towards Charlotte, maybe a loop-de-loop. Can I see another loop-de-loop? Oh, there it is. It's all over the map. Look at that. Right through Knoxville. You can't tell. Well, most of it's clustered in western North Carolina. It's going to throw back the heavy rains east of I-75. If you haven't downloaded the Captain Accurate Weather app with Pete Michaels Traffic, I hope you'll do so. It's there for your convenience. It's not free. It's free for you. But again, thank you for my sponsor with Pete Michaels Traffic and for the many of those of you who have supported me over these months and years. It is a great product. The Captain Accurate Weather app got a new upgrade this past spring. So make sure you download it. You got the spaghetti plots, the hurricane cones, and so much more. Bright sunshine on Thursday. Ian's leftovers this weekend. And the same third bullet point on the headline from yesterday is still there, unaltered, expecting 1 to 3 inches of rain Saturday through Monday. And I could probably put the word plus, 1 to 3 plus, if you're around maybe Morristown, the way things are shaping up. Okay, radar shows most of the damage reports are up toward the Great Lakes, but we've got a lot on Florida. Look at this. It's like a smorgasbord of what do I click on. Lots of tornadoes. I know we had 11 yesterday in Florida, 1 so far today. This one is in Broward County. This was at 12:40 a.m. I guess that could be considered today. They have one that confirmed there. Lots of these exclamation points, which would suggest some damaging wind. Measure maybe a 46-mile-an-hour gust there. Another tornado over here. Multiple social media videos showed a brief tornado around Brevard County, Florida, if I'm saying that right. And also quite a bit on the west side as well. It just keeps on coming. 140-mile-an-hour gusts. Is that all? Yeah, Cape Coral, Lee County, Florida, and obviously a lot more towards Sarasota as well. Flooding, it's just going to be ongoing. It's a real mess, so thoughts and prayers for them. Meanwhile, the Storm Prediction Center, as I mentioned, puts the focal point down to the south. Again, this is for today and tonight, really until tomorrow morning. Palm Bay, Daytona Beach, still some concerns for tornadoes there. That, again, runs through today, but nothing going on here. Obviously, severe weather is not going to be an issue for us, but for our friends down in the south, Orlando, and say maybe Palm Bay, 10%, 2%, I guess it's 5% in Brown. So it's been shifted, it's been moved a little bit, and has been adjusted by the Storm Prediction Center. So here's the future cast, how this is going to play out. It's going to come up from the south and east. I'm going to move this along pretty quickly. As you can see, not a whole lot to see tomorrow because it's sunshine. But then, oops, I put that too fast on the map mark there. But generally, what we're looking at is this wind will pick up tomorrow out of the northeast about 5 to 15. And then once we get into the afternoon, gusts could be 25 to 30 during the day on Thursday. 25 to 30 for gusts on Thursday. Once we get into Friday, the high clouds will advance. They will advance pretty quickly. And you can see the rain's already moving into Wilmington, Columbia, Charlotte at that time, and it'll slide in here very late, possibly after high school football. But there's 7 o'clock in the morning, and you can see where the storm is. And it's still spinning. And it's throwing back some rain, and it'll come in bands, it'll come in stages, and oh yes, tropical moisture can pile up pretty quickly. So for tonight, 45 the low, plenty of stars, very cool, winds out of the northeast 5 to 10 miles per hour. We're down to 41 Middlesboro, 42 Morristown, 45 Oak Ridge. Tomorrow I'm anticipating Thursday's high of 72. Sunny skies, a bit breezy, particularly in the afternoon, 5 to 15, gusting 25 to 30. Thursday's high, 70 for Oak Ridge. 70 for La Follette, Middlesboro, 70 for Morristown, Talbot, as well as Russellville and White Pine. The warmest number I've got there is 74 in Tellico Plains, 71 in Athens, with ample sunshine, only the upper 60s for much of the plateau. Here's your Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast for Knoxville, East Tennessee. We've got 72 the next 2 days. Really, I would say high cloudiness for Friday. Then we've got the rain, Ian's rain, Saturday and Sunday. They linger. And then maybe some mountain drizzle on Tuesday. We're trending drier as we move into Tuesday, and I've got more sunshine on Wednesday with mostly sunny skies indeed. By the way, if you want to keep track of it all, download the Captain Accurate Weather app with Pete Michaels Traffic. It's free at the App Store and Google Play. Just 2 words. That's all you need to use. Just search Captain Accurate at the App Store and Google Play. Well, my name is David Aldrich. Some people call me Captain Accurate. It's not easy being accurate, so weather doesn't surprise you. We'll see you here next time. Take care.